long time ago, our people used to be on this river. It used to be their life. It'd be their travel ways, it'd be their highways, it'd be everything that they had.
There's 2 foot, there's 4 foot, 14. And then there's Miners Lake, that's where the reserve line crosses, eh?
It's just a short set of rapids, maybe about 80 feet long, and the elevation from the top of the rapid to the bottom is about 2 feet, so they call it a 2 foot rapid.
Yeah, that's why you hear about 2 foot all the time, because that's where a lot of people used to go up there and fish in the spring.
How far up the river is it?
45-minute walk from here. There's a trail up there and everything.
With Agnes, the lady that lived here all the longest, she went up there and she was well up in her age. She may have been 60 at that time. And then my daughter, she was only a baby, 8 months maybe. We took her up there. We made a fire and they fished and we ate. So we used to like going up there.
When you go above the 2 foot rapid, you'll see a large pine stand, and that's where the deer and the moose winter in those areas. So that's a very important part, and that's a large area right from the highway right up to 2 foot. So that's a really sensitive one there.
And there's other little sets of rapids along the way, but you know, they're just small. They're not really big like these ones. Like you're like 2 foot there, you go up there in the spring, boy, the old water just roaring through there, you know.
And when the people started to come up the river, they started to travel and started to come to this land, they used to trade. One day I was going back down the river from coming up here fishing, and right in this area here, I found an axe head, and it was all one piece, and it was French influence. It would have been made by the French, and it would have probably been given in trade.
There's 2 foot, there's 4 foot, and all of a sudden it jumps to 14. So what happened from 4 to 14? Maybe because 14 was a bigger drop. It was more like, kind of like a little Niagara Falls thing, just coming and zoom, straight down.
14 is rough. It could be rough in the spring, eh? Water's high. You should see that water come down there. There's a gorge there.
That's 14 foot, and that is one heck of a portage.
Yeah, that's 14 foot.
Okay.
They don't call it 14 foot for nothing.
Yeah. The trails that were on the portages really need an awful lot of work. They need an awful lot of help. But they haven't been used. They haven't been used by our people, and they haven't been upkept. And I think that that's one of the things that we've got to start doing, is starting to take care of those trails and take care of Mother Earth so that our people have a safe passage. Our people used to come up here on this lake, Miners Lake. We'd have a lot of fun up there.
It's actually not a lake, it's just where the river gets wide, but they do call it Miners Lake.
It's actually one of the nicest areas around. It's unfortunate that it's not part of the reserve, the whole lake. Some of the historical information that we've dug up leads us to believe that we had a settlement probably 2 to 3 miles further east towards the $30 Rapids and the Canal Rapids, that we used to harvest fish in there. We had a base camp set up there. So really that is our stomping ground, the whole Miners Lake.
Around the lake is really important because it's a high medicine area.
I took my kid up there. I take my grandson up there now. So I used to come up here. I spent many nights right on this point right here in my tent.
It's not the fishing that, what we're really, that's the reason that we're there. What we're there for is harvesting of the plants.
I used to hear a little guy used to bug me, a whippoorwill. He used to land beside my tent late at night, and he'd be there just yapping away, you know.
I remember one time we were up there, and there was a whole bunch of green frogs. I don't know, there was so many of them, and a bunch of them would jump in at a time. And it sounds like a moose. Let's go over there. Nothing over there. So towards daylight, you're getting tired, you know. It's maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. So I laid down, and there was little boulder, little rocks there. And just laid on top there and went to sleep. I woke up and it was raining. Feel that? And it was all those little frogs jumping all over me.
But we were up there fishing one time too, and then we heard all this splashing in the water, and somebody yelling or something. Like, who's up here with us? No, there's nobody up here with us. And again, went back to fishing, and I hear that noise again. I said, wait a minute, that's a loon. That's a loon. And you could see the water coming off his wings, and with the sun behind him, it looked like it was little rainbows, is what it was. Whole bunch of little rainbows when he was flapping his wings, when the water was coming off his wings. And I never saw that before. I never saw a loon dance for his partner. And that's what he was doing. He was dancing for her. I saw it up there. That's kind of like a magical place, Miners Lake. All kinds of stuff happens up in there. Well, there used to be logging camps up there in the late 1800s. There was logging camps up there, and they were there all winter and come down, big drives in the spring.
One of the elders in the community told my mom that they had found a nugget the size of a man's fist at a place up the river called Devil's Elbow. And it was filed in a claim office in Little Current back in the 30s or something. And so it did happen. And he told my mother that there was gold at 2 foot. And when you go up there and explore, there's a spur line set up there. We don't know if it was set up for mining or timber, because they logged out the northeast corner of the reserve when we had a boundary dispute. So when we figured it out, they said you can have back that section as long as you don't claim for the timber on it that was harvested. But when we went up there, my dad did all the forestry work, he found railway cars, and it looked like mining equipment.
I found an old mining car wheel, you know those mining cars with the steel wheels? I found a set of wheels on a pathway up on about 14 foot. So maybe there was someone mining gold up there that wasn't supposed to. It's just a mystery. How'd they get there? You're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads. The only way there is by water or overland through the bush. So
I think one of the members here used to have a wagon and horses, and used to take all the supplies up to the lumber camp.
That's very different.
And that was him that marked that trail. That's that 2 foot trail. We could see the old blazes in there when they cut them, and then the tree grew, and it grew over top, you know, over the old blaze, and it looks like a big. And now that Skidoo trail goes right where the old, I guess it was the trail that Charlie Naganash had made.
there's a burial ground on Miners Lake that it's off reserve. But I was there. We were there once. We capsized and we had to go into shore, and that's where we pulled in on this long, narrow beach. And I found out later that there's graves on that beach.
And I think that those 2 graves there was 2 loggers that died up there.
Well, this were, it was logging days, timbering. People were sick and too far to bring them down, so they died and they buried them there. Maybe, I think you can pretty near see the mound there.
I know one year we were up there hunting, wounded a deer over there. I said, you two guys, I said, there were three of us. I said, you guys go and look for the deer. I said, it probably swam across the river. I'll go down in here. I said, no, I'll get a fire going and I'll make some tea. So I went down this little gully beside the river, it's nice and flat. And it was raining, it started to rain on us. And I made a fire down there. This little stuff started happening in that little patch of bush. No, this ain't right here. What's going on here? No, I'm 30-some years old. I'm not scared of the boogeyman. And it's not dark. So why I don't feel right, you know? I looked at the fire, and the fire was burning so bright. And the wood is wet. It should be smoking and sputtering and doing all kinds of other crazy things, not burning. Not burning the way it was burning. I put the pail on there for the water to boil, and the water boiled, and I threw the tea bag in there, and then after a while I heard like babies or older people crying or something. You know, I didn't know what that was. So when I got home, I asked my father about that, and I said I had a very funny experience up the river. And right away, he knew what I was talking about. And he said that was, I was at one of the burial grounds there for when the natives used to come around on their canoes and down out in the bay and go north or south or whatever. And anybody that was sick and dying, well, that's where they left them. They left them right there.
And below 14, I don't know it, but I know where this person is talking about it. If you were there at night or evening, you could hear somebody crying on there. There's a bit of a rock there, a little island there. It sounded like a lady that's crying there. So maybe she was sick and got left there, you know, whatever happened. You can hear a woman crying, or a kid, whatever that means.
So what do you think, Cynthia?
Beautiful, I love it. I would like to live right here.
From the river and so far over, right up to Miners Lake, just leave it the way it is.
I guess that's what they call progress, I guess, because you know, it's four-wheelers and everybody's all over up there now. And like I say, I used to go up there with my son. We used to go up there and call moose. You never see anybody. You know, you call a moose, and next thing you know, four-wheelers come around the corner. I didn't call you, you know.